Yeah, ooh, let me, ayy, ooh, ayy, I do it. Run that bitch up like a track, run that bitch up like a track, Give me the pack and I might take that. She got a fatty, I might take that. Give me your addy, we pullin' up to your pattern, then we gon' put it to red, we go click clap. I run that bitch like a boy with a cell on it. She so my dick, then I fell on her. I got the pack in the box, and say mail on it, open it up and then seal it off. I'm from the street, man, I feel like sesame. All of these thought they do had sex with me. Whip it and flip it, I know the recipe. Remember me, your nigga was sleeping and now you texting me. She ride my dick like a skateboard. I get the bob, don't date horse.
Hey guys, what is up? It is your boy Directed What Ifs back at it again with another video, and I hope you guys liked the new intro that I made. It took quite a while to make because I had to go through the anime platforms and find all those videos. So I wouldn't mind it if you guys dropped a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And let's get started with the video. And this video is called "What If Deku Had Air Compressed?" Now, you know that guy called Mr. Compress from the League of Villains? Well, this is what I think he would have, except it's like an air compress. So basically, it's like you're able to compress the air around your body parts and around someone else's body if you get advanced enough. So what I think is like you can compress the air in front of your fingers and then send them out as bullets, and kind of the same thing with your palm, and you send it out as like a huge shockwave, kind of like air cannon from that one guy Isa or something like that. I'm gonna have to rewatch that episode, but yeah, it's kind of like that, air compress. I just explained it. And let's get right into the story, as the story pretty much goes the same, except Deku can more defend himself, and it starts around whenever he wants to go to UA. So he wants to go to UA as he's coming home. I'm not gonna make him too OP because someone from my last video commented that I made him too OP in my what if Deku had an amplified quirk, and they said that he was too OP, so I'm not gonna make him too OP, but he's still gonna be pretty OP. So the sludge villain pops out of the sewer, and he uses his air compress, and he already has his quirk activated always, as a little tornado is always going around him, and it kind of works as a blade of some sort. So if anyone decides to try and punch him or use something on him, it's a tornado, so it'll blow it back, but then again, it'll injure the person trying to hit him. You know what I'm talking about? So basically, this sludge villain comes after his body as he feels a strong power emitting from him, but he heavily underestimates Deku, and Deku uses his full power and maximizes the amount of air he can compress, and completely blows the villain back into All Might, which sends All Might flying too, as he was wondering what just happened. And he comes back to see what and who that was, and he sees a little boy standing there with his hand up, looking all serious, and he asks what his name is, and he says, "It's Izuku Midoriya. I have to get home now before my mom calls me and gets mad." All Might says, Do you want to inherit my quirk? Later on, he finds out that he rushed in to go save Bakugo, and basically the whole ordeal happens, but except he has a quirk. So he runs in, and he uses his quirk bullets to blow away pieces of the monster, and then he comes in, and then he saves Bakugo with a huge air blast. Bakugo doesn't thank him, as he doesn't want to be known as a kid who got saved by lower level than him. You know what I'm talking about? That's something Bakugo would do. So as people are asking him how he did that, he just said, "I used my quirk," as it's way different now, and they both get praised for Bakugo's explosions and his wind waves, as it kind of blew back the heroes and the civilians a bit. And All Might appears again as Deku is going home, and he asks him if he wants to inherit his quirk, and sounding kind of dumb to All Might, he says, "No, my quirk is good enough for me and now." All Might is surprised as he says, "Good job, kid. I knew you had it in you." And as he looks up at All Might is smiling with a thumbs up and says, "You made the right choice. You have the quirk that fits you, and I don't want to add an extra stress onto you of becoming my successor." Nice answer. And he says, well, I'm on my way to find a worthy successor. I'll keep an eye out for you when you get into UA, with a wink. As Deku goes home, he trains his air compress the whole 10 months, and he's pretty strong. He's actually stronger than Bakugo's explosions. And his air compress works with his legs too, so now he's able to be faster and move faster and hit a lot harder and air compress into way more bullets, kind of like Nine's little, Nine from the movie. As he uses his little lasers, that's what he can make with the air now. So he does that to most of the robots that he sees, and he comes up to this one 0-pointer that President Mike told him not to worry about. And this time, it's way different. He jumps up with his air compress, and he uses his hardest move ever. He literally combines them both. And he kind of injures his arm as the wind travels up his arm and kind of cuts him. Since it's so condensed, he can change it into blades, and it kind of cuts his arm a bit, but it completely destroys the robot, sending it flying back, and it falls down, exploding a whole bunch. He drops down, helping Uraraka up under the rocks, from under the rocks, and everyone was wondering how he did this, and he says, I just used my maximum move, Plus Ultra, Before all the Plus Ultra even happened, All Might told him about Plus Ultra and how sometimes he has to go beyond. So he told them that, and they all lit up with this kind of glow, like how they should have done more. As Deku gets into UA, the whole thing happens, and he does the tests, but it's a lot different. His speed is maximized way past Ida's. Actually, it's the same as Ida's. And his power, he compresses the air between him and the ball, or his fingers and the ball, and it flies really, really far, extremely far, and it just creates this huge shockwave that sends even Bakugo flying, which makes him have to use his explosions. And Aizawa holds the little thing up, and it says 2,251 meters, as Deku was aiming for 2,500 meters. He's like, dang it, I didn't reach my goal. And everyone was shocked because he was already extremely strong. And Bakugo comes up to him about to use an explosion, but he does an air compress, basically an air compress shield around him, and it does nothing, and he gets scolded for it. Deku goes home that day and wonders what happened at school. As he's lifting his weight, his mom tells him to eat as those muscles need to grow. He goes to school the next day wondering what's going to happen this day, as the real training has just begun. It's the heroes versus villains. And Bakugo and Ida are on the villains, and Deku and Uraraka are on the same team. Sorry for that stutter. He and Uraraka are on the same team, as that's how it was in the real anime, but this time Deku can control his quirk way better than any One for All at that point. So he enters the building looking for Bakugo immediately, as he already knows Bakugo has a rivalness between him, as Bakugo thinks he's trying to get better than him. Searching for him through every hall, they finally meet up, as Deku doesn't waste any time and compresses the air around his fingertips and launches the bullets at Bakugo. As Bakugo creates an explosion, thinking that this is going to knock the air bullets away, he is so wrong, as these bullets are so sharp and so condensed that they travel through the explosion and they all hit perfectly. As he blows on his hands, he says, "That was perfect aim. I got better from last year, haven't I, Bakugo?" As Bakugo coughs up blood, All Might is wondering how did that just happen, as he wasn't this good with his quirk whenever he saw him. But Bakugo persists and actually manages to hurt Deku a bit, as it still causes Deku to run. Like I said, I don't want to make him too OP. So Deku starts to run, not wanting to make a lot of noise and do a lot of damage to the building. As he runs away, he is running to the top floor, and he finds Uraraka hiding behind the thing, and he tells her not to make any noise as Bakugo is coming. As they hear explosions and Bakugo screaming, "Where are you, Deku? I'm gonna kill you." They hear that and they decide to be extra quiet. As they find the bomb, Deku uses his compression wave as he compresses the air around his hand, and he creates it into a huge shockwave, sending Ida flying out of the building that they were in. And Uraraka easily touches the bomb, and the training is over. It's easily done in a matter of 5 minutes out of the 10 they were given, I think. As Deku goes home, he is met up with Bakugo. As I added this in myself, I figure that this will be a good encounter for them. Bakugo meets Deku on the way home and tells him that they're going to battle right there, right now, as he couldn't use his full power at the moment because he was inside of the school. Deku declines this offer, but Bakugo doesn't care as he creates a huge explosion, sending Deku flying into a nearby building, causing a lot of damage to the ground below them and to the building, as an earthquake type thing echoes throughout the entire half of the city. As Deku starts to get up, he's wondering Bakugo is holding that back this much, as he creates the tornado full of slices around him. As he starts condensing the tornado to the point where it's basically an R around him, he says release, as the blades start shooting out in every direction, causing even more damage, but some of them hitting Bakugo, badly injuring him. As they're both on the same level, it seems, Deku can use his quirk even more, as it doesn't really require anything except for the air around him. So he compresses the air into one final cannon. He calls it the final cannon, and he launches it at its maximum power using both of his hands. And it completely blows away Bakugo, as not even his explosions could keep him in one spot. Bakugo is surprised, but he's also mad that he couldn't beat Deku. As Deku starts to walk home, Bakugo says, "This isn't over, and I will get stronger than you. No matter what, I will be the #1 hero." As Deku laughs it off and decides to go home. In the anime, let's skip a couple episodes to the episode where it's the sports festival in season 2. As this sports festival is happening, Deku is hyped up for it, as he knows that he's at least going to get second place, probably behind Bakugo or Todoroki. And the sports festival starts, as his first opponent, I think, is that brainwash guy. Yes, it's that brainwash guy, and he wastes no time with this compression around his 2 fingers, and he launches them at the brainwash guy, as the brainwash guy is confused why he didn't answer his question, and they hit him in his chest, the 2 air compression things, and it sends him flying out of the arena within the first 4 seconds of the match. And as it ended, he walks up to Deku and he's like, "You bastard, I'm gonna get you the next time." As Deku doesn't say anything, knowing about his power from the papers that UA had. As the next battle starts, I think it's Ida versus someone, or it's Uraraka versus someone. But anyways, let's skip to the fight with Deku and Todoroki. So, with Deku and Todoroki, it's a lot different. As his air compressed, he compresses it into that little finger blow that he does against Todoroki. Go watch it on YouTube. Go search up Deku versus Todoroki full fight, and he'll do the finger thing where it launches that little Delaware smash. Well, he calls that a finger compress. And he compresses the air around that finger, as whenever his finger flicks out, the compression is so condensed that whenever it flicks out, it'll shoot out like a condensed fireball, basically. And it'll hit Todoroki's eyes, completely shattering it, doing way more knockback than his Delaware smash. And Todoroki is surprised, as he didn't think what Bakugo told him was this true. And he starts to fly almost out of the arena, as he uses way more ice, which caused him to get frozen way more early on, as this is just the first minute of the tournament. Of the fight, the first minute of the fight. So Todoroki decides to use his left side, as he knows this guy isn't no joke. So he goes his maximum, Deku goes his maximum too, as they're both at their max. The whole thing with Cementos happens. He puts up the walls, but Deku is just a little bit stronger than Todoroki, as I don't want to make him too OP. So he breaks the wall and sends Todoroki flying into the wall out there. But his ice barely lets him stay up, but he's still out of the ring, so he's still out. As Deku is declared the winner of that match. And now the fight is between him and Bakugo. Bakugo can let loose all he wants without any worries, basically, because Cementos has this ring under him that he can always just replace. So Bakugo's first move is to blow up the bottom of the ring, as he knows that Deku doesn't have any control in the air. But Deku thinks ahead and has already started to activate his tornado around his body, and he condenses it already to make it look like an aura, and he says release as it flies out in all directions just like their fight before. As Bakugo doesn't have any time to react, the only thing he can think of was his move right then. So he explodes the ground as he literally destroys everything below them. And Deku is kind of surprised, as this doesn't protect him from under him, as he needs to work on that. Hey guys, it's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I kind of left it on a cliffhanger for part 2. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And this was what if Deku hadn't had air compressed. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And this was directed What Ifs, and peace out.